What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the build. So, past day or so, haven't been feeling the best and been watching a lot of YouTube, um, like I did when I was younger, and it's kind of got me thinking that I want to. I'm dragging my notes over to this screen. It's kind of got me thinking that I want to start remaking videos again. Maybe a little bit different than the videos that I used to make. So, took some time before I made this and went back and just watched a few of the videos I made. Not the best. Probably said some things that were pretty stupid. I think a lot of the older videos are more egotistical driven, trying to prove that I was something or someone, when at the time I really wasn't, if that makes sense. Trying to impose that I was somehow successful at the time because I owned a company or was a founder of a company. But truth be told, I mean, it wasn't anything substantial. We did some pretty neat projects. It made money, but by no means was it a home run success. And so the last true build video was uploaded 4 years ago. So this is 2022. So 4 years ago would have been 2018. And so a lot of things have changed in those 4 years. So the things I talked about in the video, I'm just going to use this as a quick recap to at least get stuff to where things are today. Not going to belabor anything, but provide context, kind of more focus of what the channel is going to become moving forward, and go from there. So kind of set expectations. So back in the last build video, I talked about the drone company. I'm no longer at the drone company. I didn't sell anything. I didn't make any money out of it. A lot of lessons learned. Maybe I'll get into it later, but nonetheless, I'm no longer involved in any capacity. I didn't sell my ownership in it. I just gave it all back, and I'm no longer involved in any capacity. Powerlifting was something I talked about in the last build videos, and no longer doing powerlifting. Haven't really done quote unquote serious powerlifting training probably since, I would say, the winter of 2019, 2020 was about the last time I was doing actual serious powerlifting training. So 2 years or so, 3 years. I no longer live in Ohio, and I no longer make videos in my bedroom that I grew up in. Since I've moved to Georgia, I live in obviously an apartment at the moment. I have been here now for going on. This will be my third year in Georgia. And in the last video, I also talked about coding. So still something I'm trying to learn, but my mindset around that has changed a lot through having mentors and people guiding me in different ways. So I guess that's a quick crash course of like the high points of what's changed between the last video and these videos. And I kind of want to talk about, what I want this channel to become and the main motivation behind doing it. I think a lot of the videos I used to make, a lot of the social media I used to post, I mean, I've deleted my Instagram. At the time the build was going on, I had an Instagram account and I deleted it. Since then I've remade one, but it's not anything like what it used to be. Alright, now I might make a longer video about this separately, but I used to use social media mainly as for lack of better words, a dick measuring contest. Use it as a way to be very egotistical, very braggadocious, very look at me, I'm the shit, everything I do turns to gold, everything is great, very, very ego driven, trying to seek approval and validation from other people. At the time, I mean, there wasn't anything like, you know, substantial or great or anything that really warranted any merit. Was I on the right path for some things? Maybe, but at a high level, when you look at the grand scheme and game of life, it's just, wasn't anything that really warranted the ego or the attitude that I brought forth. Powerlifting, was I strong? Relatively to a lot of people, yes, but in that sport, no. Even just at that body weight, I wasn't anything like to write home about. In business, was I successful? I mean, we had a company that we started that made money. Was it over six figures? barely, maybe, still debatable, because there's just a lot of things before I go into there at the time. But I could say I was a quote unquote, an executive of a company we founded. Which, don't get me wrong, a lot of lessons. Pretty grateful for that, but things have changed. So this channel, I know I don't want to be as like braggadocious or as egotistical. I kind of want to make just more pure educational type content. Some of it will be value-ish, maybe some vlog style, but not. I'm not going to promise like high cinematography or high editing or anything like that, just because it's a time investment that right now I don't personally want to put that time into it, to making very cinematic videos. Maybe things will change in the future, but at least that's the current path going forward. So the main things I really want to focus on are, one, the main motivator for the trying to remake videos on YouTube and social media content in general is there's a lot of people that talk about how they dropped out of college, or college is stupid, or this, that, and the other. If you go to college, you can't be successful. You need to drop out to be an entrepreneur, to own a business, to make millions, to drive Lambos, all that very flashy marketing stuff that gets people's attention. Don't get me wrong, I used to be one of those people, and I have bought one of those courses in the past of people that market in that style. While I do agree college is flawed, I think there's definitely a path of going from an employee to a very successful person in business. And some of the results that I've produced in the 4 years since the last video have paved a path that other people can follow, and that's a path that I want to share and describe what moves I personally made, point to exact paths, and then also point out things that I navigated poorly or perhaps could have navigated better. It's one thing to make videos on the internet when you are the owner. It's different when you are an employee. There's a little more of a delicate balance, so to speak. So the other things I want to talk about are more of like, not really fashion based. I'm not a fashion person by any means. I mean, if you go look at the last videos, they're me in a hoodie, me in a bedroom. They're nothing. Style is not something you're going to write home about, but it's something I know that's important, and I personally, it's something I need to improve on. So I hope to be able to point to things that I look at or learn from as far as attire goes. Fitness and health. My mindset around fitness and health has changed since the last videos. I still work out. I've done CrossFit for ever since I moved to Georgia, which was May of 2020. So this is June of 2022. So that's 2 years. I've been on CrossFit for 2 years. And started doing jiu-jitsu over a year ago. And my mindset around health and fitness is still very important. I don't really compete or have aspirations to compete like I used to. But it's more or less just to maintain overall health. One, I definitely still want to look good. Would be a lie if I said otherwise. But, showing how to do it as someone who is more business oriented and less of a quote unquote like fitness YouTuber. Yes, there'll be fitness involved, but I'm more of a business. This is more of a business focus channel and journey than it is of like a fitness journey. So kind of walk you through that process, and then relationships is probably one that I'll touch on ish. That's my weakness of everything. Personally, mainly because I'm an engineer by degree, so I'm very analytical, not very emotional, high emotional IQ. So connecting with people and building relationships can be difficult at times. So that's something I want to improve upon. I know is important, especially as I move into the next step of my business career. But that's what I want the channel to be dedicated towards moving forward. So this should be build video 209. So I'm going to pick up the series where I left off. This briefly kind of explains that 4-year hiatus between the last build video. I know there's some random uploads between the two, but they weren't really strategized, so to speak. And then make uploads from here moving forward, just going over the topics I discussed. Maybe some will be a vlog, maybe some will be like eating, trying to be healthy as someone who still works in an office and setting, is not a full-time fitness personality. So some of the things I hope to do with the channel in the future is one, eventually partake in a meal prep type company. I definitely think that's something very important with the time aspect of our lives. And then two is fitness, or not fitness, but clothing, and more towards the business aspect of clothing, mainly out of helping people that don't have a clue what to shop for, because I'm definitely one of those people. And then two, people that have more athletic builds, whether they're broader shoulders or bigger backs or bigger legs, or just than the average person. And so buying clothes can be a pain at times, especially for work and kind of going through that. And so that's kind of what the channel is going to be dedicated towards, some of the goals that I have set for recording. So first goal is to just have consistent uploads throughout the next 6 months. And then if I prove to myself that I can be consistent in uploading to YouTube, then we'll expand the channel, start to bring on new things, start to do more things, and go from there. So if you guys have anything, feel free to reach out, and look forward to seeing you guys, and thanks for investing your time into these videos.